What dirty little secret does your profession hide that the consumer should know? Retail. It's not out the back. We already know it's not out the back. But since you asked, we'll look. But just walk out the back and have a drink of water. Or that pee we've been holding in. Or check our phone. You'll thank us for trying. But we didn't really do anything. I work for a large organization. At work we have recycling, trash, and compost waste bin options. I work until closing and every night I watch the janitor dump all 3 trash cans into one big one that he wheels around. Former research intern at Student Affairs for a major university here. If you were a student, you got monitored for everything. If you swiped your student ID card at the gym, it wasn't just to check you were enrolled. It got labeled on your record that you went there and could be used to investigate if your grades went up or down compared to people who didn't go to the gym. Same for advisors, the pool, tutoring, career services, etc. The fact that this was going on wasn't technically a secret, but I don't think students ever really pieced together why they were always swiping their ID cards. It was for a good cause, improving services, and there were strict privacy rules protecting student data. But I think a lot of college students would get creeped out to know that the school can and might be tracking their every move. We know. Remember that time you went to that dodgy porn site? Got your laptop riddled with viruses? Then claimed it just started acting funny and the ad guy believed you? No. He didn't. He also knows exactly what site you went to. We also know that you know exactly how those games got on your work laptop. We know your computer didn't randomly lock you out. You put your password in wrong 3 times. Yes. You did open that attachment from an unknown source. Your files didn't vanish. You deleted them. You dropped your laptop. You let your kid play on it at home and we can see your entire browsing history even if you delete the local cache. Edit. Thanks for the gold. You can buy stamps from your mailbox. Just leave money and a note in the box and a mail carrier will leave you stamps. Used to work in a bank call center. For me at least. And I imagine for other people I worked with. Hearing an angry customer say I'd like to speak to a supervisor was the greatest thing ever. No longer my prob. Used to work at Best Buy. If there were only a limited amount items available for a special deal going, the staff would usually hide them in the back for themselves and buy them at the end of their shift. This was big on Black Friday too. You could just lie to the customer and say someone online must have made an order to pick it up from the store. Duvet covers in your hotel room are generally only washed once a month. And I'm not talking Motel 6. I'm talking about full service Marriotts with $400 a night rooms. Edit. Literally a dirty secret. When you bring in your broken electronics, all we do is Google how to fix it. Then we fix it and charge for it. But you could totally just get the tools and do it yourself. Unless you really don't want to break warranty stickers. Used to work at a laser tag arena when I was in high school. Sometimes we would go on the computer that runs the game and give random people power-ups such as invulnerability. Like, if you ask me to give you invulnerability for the entire game I just might. Depending on how bored I was. Lots of pastors often feel very alone. Isolated. Unable. Unwanted. Taken advantage of. And generally not super happy. Pastoral ministry is hard and will wear on your emotions and life if you let it. Yes. My wife and I fight. Yes. Our kids aren't perfect despite our best efforts. No. I'm not always as prepared for my sermon as I should be. Yes. I think about quitting from time to time. We're people just like you. Edit. These edgelords are kinda funny lol. No longer involved. But from my time as a store manager for a large red automotive chain. Retail parts stores are obscenely priced middlemen. The chain I worked with had a coupon that allowed online customers to take 30% off whenever they wanted. And we still made good margins on those sales. Imagine the ones that didn't use the coupon. If you plan on ordering parts yourself and doing DIY work on your car, www.recorto.com for actual parts. Walmart Target for fluids, that is seafoam, Mother's Instant Wax, windshield wiper fluid, etc. Local parts store for oil change specials. Walmart Target if you only want the oil. You will absolutely be getting ripped off if you purchase all of your parts at the chain stores. And one of the reasons I left was my location started training employees to upsell customers with needlessly overpriced variants of items and penalizing firing the ones who wouldn't. So you're literally dealing with used car salesman types trying to swindle you into buying the overpriced goods now. TLDR, stay away from brick and mortar retail automotive parts and supplies chain stores. It goes to great lengths to give you a mirage of privacy. I'm a university lecturer. We get 20 minutes to mark your 3,000 word essay, 30 minutes if it's 5,000 words, and around 1 hour to mark your dissertation. This includes reading time. I'm a dog walker trainer. If your dog has a bite history or a source guarding issues and you fail to disclose it to me or try to minimize it, I will tell literally every dog walker I meet to avoid taking you on as a client. We all know how to deal with aggressive dogs. No one wants to deal with a shitty owner. Reporters don't write headlines. There's about an 80% chance in my career working on the railway that I'll hill someone at a crossing. If you're rude to the ER nurses, and your problem is clearly minor and really don't need to be in hospital, we will make you wait longer to see a DR. Good manners go a long way. We will never play your request on the radio. It's pre-programmed. Stop ducking calling. Unless you're calling college stations. They might. But we won't. If you're stuck behind us, don't get mad. We're going as fast as we can. When we flash our brights at you, that means you're good to merge in front of us. Give us plenty of space. We can't stop nearly as fast as you can. Please don't be big digs to us. We're tired, underpaid, and probably haven't seen our family or have been home for either weeks or months. Truck driver. The cloud and not infallible. Back up your sheet. Nurse here. The biggest objection I hear to being an organ donor is that they don't want to be seen as spare parts. But we generally don't even look to see if you are a donor until after we have done everything we can do for you and you are brain dead. Also, I have no idea what insurance you have in the hospital unless I go out of my way to look it up. Billing social work deals with that sheet. My job is the same. Treat you for your illness. Occasionally I find out about your lack of insurance due to things my employer does to help you once you leave the hospital, i.e. get you in a special program to pay for your meds. Give you samples of your meds to take home. etc. Most people know now that models and celebrities in magazines get photoshopped to look younger and better. This happens in movies too. Not as often and not to as great an extent, but it does happen. Makeup can't take care of everything all the time. I work in a primary care medical office. Every single day we have an ice-cated lunch from different drug companies, in hopes that the physician will start prescribing whatever medication they are pushing that day. The funny thing is, the doctors don't even eat the food and the rest of us take it back to our desks without listening to the drug rep's presentation since we don't have anything to do with prescriptions. We are booked out for lunches until October and each lunch costs $300 on average for our office of 20 people. I feel guilty about it when my own family has struggled to pay for prescriptions in the past. This is what your $700 monthly prescription is paying for. Grocery store, you know that chicken salad that's made in store? Yeah. That sold rotisserie chicken meat that didn't sell. Also, the people stocking the shelves at night usually might not have the time to properly rotate the shelves, meaning the newest product is in the front. Be sure to check the expiration date if you get an item from the back. With the exception of produce, nothing in Panera is fresh. Everything comes out of a box or bag. I am a CPA. Enron ruined it all for us. We are all ethical. Soulless calculators. If you shop at a thrift store, wash the clothes before you try them on. If you buy produce, wash it before you eat it. I manufacture airplane parts. And for the most part, none of us give a shit about our job. But don't worry. Planes are perfectly safe. It takes a ducking army of people to do this shit. I'm sure someone will catch the mistake we missed. I worked in recruitment. Yes. We Google you. But it's not so nefarious. Whatever is found might be grounds for a conversation. But it's really the resume that gets you the first interview or not. Your Shinoa beef bowls barely contains beef. It's mostly strands of fat. If you leave your dog or cat at the local shelter or humane society, it is most likely not going up for adoption and finding a loving new family. Chances are Fluffy ends up getting shot up with sodium pentobarbital and stuck in a barrel in our cold box, which is a refrigerated storage shed, and sent to a rendering plant. Don't adopt an animal if you're moving in a couple years and can't take it with you. I write website content for a living. Many professional websites are written by people who have never even heard of half the services they're writing about. An insulation site was recently launched. And guess who wrote all the professional information within it? Me. An English major who's never thought twice about insulation. I sprinkled in industry terms I found through a 10-second Google search I conducted between handfuls of popcorn. I love what I do. And I take pride in it. But sometimes I'm struck by a sense of guilt when I think that there are people out there who might take the hastily researched information I crank out as absolute gospel. Please don't. People. I try to be accurate. But mostly I'm just trying to use selected buzzwords enough times to get the site to rank on Google. As a former Disneyland employee, if you ever hear someone say have a Disney day, that basically means duck you. Also, if you think you can steal something from the store or act like a complete idiot, you will probably be stopped and pulled off site the second you are on a tram of line. There was a teen who, though he could pickpocket a pair of ears from a stroller and ended up in a little cellar, security call his parents. Bad English. Sorry. Kitchens are very clean in restaurants and hotels. People who work there love what they do. Chefs, trains, etc. and are obsessive with cleanness. Like a kid with his first car. If you see the owner or cooker hating his job, the kitchen probably is dirty. And nothing can be so dirty like a industrial kitchen abandoned. So look for places where you can see professionals are proud of. This is clear and visible from the street. And eat without worries. Attorneys log their time by the hour. But typically don't stop the clock for bathroom breaks. Or to get a cup of coffee. Or to bullshit with staff on the way back to their office. Etc. $300 per hour. Equals $5 man. That adds up quick. If you're paying hourly, you pay $10 every time your lawyer takes a leak or gets a cup of coffee. I work in marketing. There has been a trend in recent years of moving away from traditional market research and marketing techniques, to instead leveraging behavioral science to unlock the consumer's subconscious mind. Your subconscious drives 95% of decision making in store. So as a brand, you need to ensure you are developing plans that speak to this part of the brain. Parents' coaches will screw over your kids. Especially private school coaches. I have seen coaches force kids to play when they know they're injured. Suggest that they should take risks to come back sooner. Support the idea that being tough means ignoring extreme pain. etc. I have seen private school coaches recruit kids claiming they will start when really they just want to keep good kids away from public school teams so they can keep beating them. I have seen many coaches have no earthly idea what they are talking about but use personality and charisma to keep kids and parents involved in the program. Find a coach who gives 100% of themselves back to the kid should always be the first priority. Not coaches who want to win. Not coaches with good reputations. And definitely not charmer coaches. We grow organic vegetables and fruits and provide them locally to vegans, vegetarians. Little do they know the plants are grown with blood meal and liquefied fish. Haha. Stupid vegans. This thread is like 80% it. Bad news for Reddit diversity. Are you gonna let them all die or what? Cause they're gonna all die if you don't do something. Does something that is the wrong thing. Southwest is a wild ride. Air traffic control. I do taxes. Unless you have a small business. You have to do the taxes for an estate. Or you have a rental property. You can most likely figure out the forms yourself and file them on your own. Or, under a certain income threshold, you can go through TurboTax for free. Still, we get middle-aged folks paying $200, $300 just for the simplicity of having us do them instead. It's mind-boggling. Used to work as an aluminum railing installer for big commercial and residential high-rise projects. Sometimes guys would run out of the long bolts you're supposed to use and use short ones instead. Also, sometimes the wedge anchor would strip out and it would get glued into the hole with caulking. Pro tip: if you're on a high-rise balcony, don't stress test it. Leaning on it a bit is fine, but don't expect it to stop you running into it full tilt. If it's done right, you shouldn't even be able to move it with a truck. But you'll never know when the guys ran out of 3, 1/2 wedge anchors and started using 2, 1/4. Usually it's on the higher floors. 2. This especially applies to top-mounted railings. Edit: forgot to mention the janky underpaid unterkieted welders that constantly weld sheet wrong. We had railings break off their ducking mounts because of sheety welds. Not often, but enough that we started to stress test everything we installed to double check.